It would not be the holidays without these 3 Christmas treats. I'm bringing you savory and sweet today, and each one of these recipes is super easy. All right, the first thing we're gonna make are my mom's sausage balls. These are truly the best. They are so moist, so cheesy, so delicious, and it is not the holidays without making these. As you can see, we're only gonna need 3 ingredients for this. These are super easy to do. So first, in this bowl, I have about 2.5 cups of Bisquick. Then next, of course, we're gonna need 16 ounces of breakfast sausage. And then lastly, what makes these sausage balls so delicious is 11 ounces of pimento cheese. And this is just the Palmetto cheese. It is a relatively local brand. And this is the spicy version, has jalapenos in there. So of course you can use this kind or just regular pimento cheese. But that's it, y'all. This makes these so good. Now, I love a good sausage ball. I always have. But if you're anything like me, you know they can tend to be a little bit dry, but not these. Adding this pimento cheese in here is just such an easy way to make these, and I'm telling you, they're the best ever. All right, now to mix everything up, of course you can use a mixer if you want to. I just prefer to use my good old hands, the good old tools that the Lord gave me, right? But I am gonna add some gloves to my hands first. Now all we're gonna do is mix these ingredients together. And you do wanna mix these pretty good until all of that Bisquick is kind of incorporated in there. Then next, all we're gonna do, I'm just using a 1-inch little cookie scoop, but you're just gonna roll these into about 1-inch thick balls. And I should have kept my gloves on. I feel like to scoop mine out with that cookie scoop, but then I'll kind of go back in and make it into more of a perfect little sphere there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this until I've used up all of my little sausage mix. Alexa, play Christmas Jazz on volume 4. All right, I have all of our sausage balls rolled out. I also have the oven on 375, and these just go in there for about 15 to 20 minutes until they're cooked all the way through. Alrighty, y'all, they are done. And you can either just temp these to make sure they're 165, but I always just cut mine open to make sure they're perfectly done on the inside, and they are, but they're still super soft, like I said. You cannot get any better when it comes to these sausage balls. Now, of course, I gotta taste one. They are perfect. They are perfect. So soft on the inside, not dry at all. If you've never tried sausage balls with pimento cheese, this is your sign. All right, next up, y'all, I'm super excited about this recipe. This, of course, would make an awesome treat to take to a get-together, or this would even make a really good Christmas gift. If you package it up the right way for teachers, for anybody like that, this would be awesome. And we're gonna be using our slow cooker, so it really could not get any easier. First, we're just gonna add 1 16-ounce container of dry roasted peanut. You really want the roasted and salted peanuts for this because that kind of salty with the sweet is so good. And by the way, I got most of these ingredients from Aldi, so this is a relatively inexpensive recipe as well. Almost forgot, we are gonna spray the slow cooker. Next, let's add in our peanuts. Next, I have about 24 ounces of vanilla almond bark. We're just gonna break this up and add it to the slow cooker. Next, we're gonna add in a 12-ounce bag of the semi-sweet chocolate morsels. And lastly, we're just gonna add about 1/4 cup of these white chocolate morsels. Now all we're gonna do, we're gonna pop the lid on And this is just gonna cook on low for about an hour. You're gonna see everything in here kind of start to melt all together. And then we may add a few more minutes, but we'll see. But low for an hour should be good to go. It has been 1 hour. As you can see, we're starting to melt in there. So we're just gonna give everything a stir. We are melting super easy. That almond bark is not quite melted yet. So all we're gonna do is give this a really good stir. And I'm gonna put my slow cooker back on low for another 30 minutes. And we should be good to go. From this point, when you add 30 minutes, you just want to make sure you're coming and stirring about every 15 minutes or so. You just don't want any of your chocolate or anything like that to burn in here. But another 30, maybe 45 minutes, we will be good. All right, it's been an additional 30 minutes. Everything is nice and melted now. We're just gonna go ahead and stir everything. It already smells so good, and this is the easiest thing ever to make. I'm gonna show you here in just a second how we're gonna make it even more festive, especially if you wanna give these for a gift, or maybe just give a little treat bag added to a gift. That always makes things even more special. All right, everything is nice and melted. So I'm just gonna take my slow cooker over here, and I'll show you what we're gonna do next. All right, so lastly, I just have some of these little miniature cupcake liners. I guess you could use regular cupcake liners as well, depending on how big you wanted them. But this part is totally optional. You don't have to do this. If you don't want to use the little liners, all you will need to do is scoop some of your candy out, pop it on some parchment paper, and let it sit for 1 to 2 hours until everything is set. But I thought it'd be fun to add them to the cupcake liners. I don't know, that way it kind of has a little festive wrapper on there. Kind of mix up our patterns a little bit. Then I'm just using a good old ice cream scoop. I'm gonna scoop just about a tablespoon or so in there, bring it over to our liner, and pop it in. And then lastly, before they set up, that's why I'm gonna do just a few at a time. I'm gonna sprinkle just a few little sprinkles on top, because why not? Makes them look so cute. These are so good. They remind me of like a Mr. Good bar, but a tad on the sweeter side. All right, I have all of my little candies all scooped out. And like I said, these just need to set up a couple hours. You could put them in the fridge and they'll take even less time. But seriously, look how cute they are. And they are so, so good. Doesn't get any easier than this. All right, next up, this recipe actually is gonna come from my cookbook. This is in the appetizer section, and this is smoked Chex Mix. And y'all, we have made this recipe, I don't know, 10 times in the last month. It is so delicious, and you don't have to smoke it, of course. If you don't have a smoker, you can do it right in the oven. But let me show you this delicious little treat. All right, first one in the pan is 3 cups of Cheerios. And of course, you can customize this recipe to, whatever you and your family like, whatever kind of cereals you like. We really love just plain Cheerios. And again, most of this stuff comes from Aldi. We're gonna use some rice squares, some corn squares, pretzels, and my favorite are Cheez-Its and Goldfish. We don't have any Goldfish today, but so this is 2 cups of rice Chex. Then next, like I said, we're gonna add 2 cups of the corn Chex or corn squares if you got them from Aldi. Don't measure them Cheez-Its. Just put a bunch of, like 2 or 3 gin cups of Cheez-Its. That's what we need. All right, next we're adding in some Cheez-Its. And then we're also gonna add 2 cups of pretzels to the mix. And also you can definitely do this just in an oven. I'm gonna put those directions down below as well if you don't have a smoker or you don't want to smoke these. And next we're gonna add in some cocktail peanuts. How many cups?
Well, you can do as many as you want, but I'm just gonna do a cup at this point.
Yeah. I'm gonna add those to the pan. And this pan is pretty full, so we're gonna go ahead and mix everything up together, and then we're gonna add it to another pan as well. But we got a few more ingredients to add to make this so good. While that butter's melting, I'm just gonna mix all of this together. Next, you can really season these however you want to. We have our 2 sticks of butter that we melted. We're gonna add about a capful or maybe a capful and a half of ranch seasoning. Next, we're also going to add in just a little bit of Lowry's seasoned salt. And last but not least, we're going to add just a few dashes of Worcestershire sauce. The recipe calls for about 4 tablespoons, but I say just put some in there. Can't go wrong. All right, we're going to mix everything together. Next, you're just going to pour over all of that mixture all over your Chex Mix. We have it separated, so we're going to do about a cup on each one. Next, we're just going to stir everything together, get everything all mixed up with all those seasonings and butter and all of that good stuff. All right, y'all, we're out here by the smoker, and he has it on 225? 250, and this is going to take
2 hours.
2 hours, and you want to come out here and just kind of stir everything about every 30 minutes or so. But like I said, if you just want to bake them in the oven, I'll have the directions for everything right down below in the description. All right, y'all, our Chex Mix is done. You can see how some of them get that, I don't know, not caramelization, but they get that sauce cooked on there. Those are my favorite pieces. This Chex Mix is so good. It's delicious, would also make a really good gift. If you want to, bag some up in a cute little festive dish or bag and give it away, this would be perfect.